Thank you for tuning in to the Student Organization Summit. Make sure to follow us on social media and check out the many other videos on this channel about working with and advising student organizations. And now, please enjoy your workshop.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Major Campus Programming, bringing together campus partners and systems through collaboration. My name's Libby Langloy. I'm an assistant director at the University of Kentucky in our Office of Student Organizations and Activities, and I work with Major Campus Programming, so our large-scale events, as well as marketing for our office. And I will toss it over to Courtney because her picture is right next to mine.
Thanks, Libby. Hi, everybody. My name is Courtney McCullough. I'm the acting director for the Office of Student Orgs and Activities. I've been with our office since about 2013, where I started off as the Student Activities Board advisor and in my former role as the associate director for Major Campus Programming. So I will pass it over to Caitlyn.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Caitlyn. I work in the Office of Student Organizations and Activities along with my awesome colleagues and have been in the office for a little over 5 years working to support student organizations assessment and managing our Campus Labs Anthology Engage platform, which you will hear a little bit more about today. A little bit about the University of Kentucky as we get started. We are located in Lexington, Kentucky with an enrollment above 30,000 students that are enrolled. So within that enrollment, we have over 6,000 students living on campus. So we engage with that on-campus and the off-campus population when we're talking about programming and involvement. Looking at our in-state students, we have over 20,000 students with an additional 10,000 plus students from out of state. And those students are all engaged across campus in our 16 academic colleges. So we'll talk throughout the presentation about our BBNvolved platform. This is our campus database for student involvement, as well as a place where students can go to look for involvement opportunities on campus. It is our Campus Labs Anthology Engage platform, incorporating our Big Blue Nation spirit into the name and into our involvement on campus. We transitioned from the OrgSync platform to the Engage platform in 2018, and we have been working to engage students on the platform ever since. During our transition, we wanted to make sure we identified the key players in a student's involvement, extra co-curricular experience at UK. And so when we were on the OrgSync platform, we were primarily working with student organizations, and our key campus partners were fraternity and sorority life and our club sports. And so as we were planning to transition, we wanted to identify our key partners, connecting with academics. What other departments on campus did we know were programming? How could we engage with our partners in residence life and our Welcome Week, K-Week on campus? So making sure that we were mindful of who we wanted to connect with as we transition to our BBNvolved platform. And so as a part of that, we connected Google Analytics to our platform to just get a baseline for what was going on the platform, who's looking at what pages or events different organizations are getting views on the platform. And throughout our transition over the past couple of years, we have onboarded almost 50 departments. So we have been able to connect with a lot of key players that we will highlight a few of today as we continue talking about programming at UK. So our platform has really engaged with students as we have continued to expand to those departments. We have over 500 different student organizations across 4 branches. So working with our partners in residence life, club sports, and fraternity and sorority life, as well as our Office of Student Organizations and Activities. We have about 2,000 events posted on the platform every semester. And so we recognize that might not capture everything going on campus, but we think we offer a wide variety of opportunities for students to look for events, and also have loved highlighting the online tool as we transition to a remote and hybrid opportunities for student engagement on campus. So our BBNvolved platform has been an awesome opportunity to engage with students, whether they're on or off campus, as well as in the virtual setting, being able to post new opportunities, post leadership applications, and continue to engage with students virtually.
Yes, and it has been fun to engage with people virtually. I've been joking that I call it the big transition, but UK made our shift online back in the middle of March. So 2020 feels like so long ago, but all 30,000 of our students would now be finishing their classes from home. But there was still this really large want from students as well as from everyone on campus who's working to have opportunities for them to engage and connect outside of that classroom still virtually. So kind of enter the virtual programming collaborative.
Yeah, so, with that big shift to the big change to online instruction, we knew that like Libby said, we still wanted to engage students, but everything felt like it was learning how to write with your non-dominant hand. So we knew we needed to do something, and we needed to work together with our colleagues in order to make it happen and make that work. So students we knew were having a hard time pivoting, staff we knew were having a hard time pivoting. So we started taking stock very quickly of what we knew worked and what didn't. So we knew Zoom, we learned how to operate Zoom. We learned how to leverage our existing BBNvolved platform that Caitlyn's been talking about, how to really leverage that to advertise and promote to our students. Our students already had a schema for how to operate within BBNvolved, so why not utilize that as a way to engage those students? We started really building out this virtual world and how we could be collaborative and focused on student success. Again, we wanted to work smarter, not harder as an institution, and provide our students and colleagues with what they needed to be successful. So we created the Virtual Programming Collaborative, which is a group of 20 plus campus partners here at UK. It includes both student organizations, departments, that came out of the big change, the big shift to online instruction, to primary online instruction. And this was created as a space for our partners to share resources, share ideas, information, just how to best engage our students and support student success through virtual programmatic efforts. This is also a space where we would be data informed and data driven through the use of our BBNvolved platform to ensure that each partner's work was as impactful as possible. So, I think next slide. So who was included in this group? So like I mentioned, we had student orgs and departments. So some of those student orgs and departments include our Student Activities Board, our Student Government Association. We know that those two groups provide a lot of resources and programs for students. So we wanted to make sure we included them in the conversation as well. We also include our Office of LGBTQ Resources, the MLK Center, our Career Center, our Center for Graduate and Professional Diversity Initiatives, Residence Life Transformative Learning, and many, many more groups. We knew we just needed to kind of take stock of who our good partners were and who our existing partners were, and began a campaign to start to recruit others. So we took a little roadshow out to some of our bigger meetings and said, hey, we're working on this project. We're trying to create best practices and figure out ways to best engage our students virtually. If you want to join, it's a big table. Everybody's welcome. So that's how we took a baseline of some of these student orgs and departments and started building through additional meetings. Something that I think people realized very quickly after we shifted to online is that people didn't always want to sit in Zoom rooms either. And so we utilize Microsoft Teams if folks aren't able to attend the meeting and don't, if they have another conflicting meeting or they just needed to take a screen break. We had Microsoft Teams as a platform where we could upload all the files, upload the agendas, and keep everyone within the conversation virtually if they weren't able to attend those meetings.
Yeah. So Courtney kind of hinted to this, but we meet every week. So what we do with the Virtual Programming Collaborative is, which is now every 2 weeks. So we create an agenda for each of the meetings. We meet over Zoom, like Courtney mentioned. We meet every second Wednesday at 4 p.m. It honestly sounds pretty bad, but it's a good 4 p.m. meeting and a way to end the day on a Wednesday. So we go over things that we've learned, programs that have happened and are upcoming, as well as any outstanding issues that we see, whether that be us who are driving the programming collaborative or anyone in the programming collaborative who needs to bring anything forward anecdotally or anything that they've been hearing from students and parents of the like. So we also go over BBNvolved metrics, which is quickly becoming one of everyone's favorite things to go over. It's really been interesting to see how much students have continued to utilize the platform, especially as more departments and student organizations have utilized it to host information on the news page and the events page and update their organizational pages. So it's been really awesome to go over those metrics. And then the other big thing that we do is we utilize the BBNvolved platform to make a weekly graphic that has all of our partners who are in the VPC, all of their events and programs that will be upcoming for the week, and can kind of cross-promote that graphic across all of our social media channels. Again, been another really nice way to utilize the BBNvolved system. So everybody gets those in at Friday by 10 p.m. And then by Monday morning, they've got a graphic with all of our events and programs. So sometimes they're super, super tight, and we have to make some adjustments so that we can fit all the programs in, but it's been really good, and I've seen that utilized across campus to upload for students, again, as a one-stop way to find out what's going on campus that week. So a lot of the great information we just talked about, we've had a lot of outcomes, so I'll hand over to Caitlyn to talk about BBNvolved.
Yeah, so some of the outcomes from BBNvolved, we have been able to see with that connection to Google Analytics over the past couple of years, year over year, over the past few years, we had seen an increase in views, whether that was monthly, by semester, just year over year. But something that has been really important to the VPC and our BBNvolved platform is that since we transitioned to virtual and hybrid learning in the spring of 2020 in the month of March, to the peak of involvement in our fall 2020 semester, we increased the views, the overall page views to our BBNvolved platform by over 200%. So we know students are looking at this platform. We definitely credit the VPC and our campus partners and student organizations for their usage of the platform to be garnering this attention and these views on the platform. We've also been able to use the BBNvolved events and event attendance to look at when students are attending events, whether that is time of day, day of the week, to help inform and to share that out with the programming collaborative and to our campus partners to find those times of days where students are looking for events, or being able to identify based on the event offerings on BBNvolved where our gaps might be. So just using the BBNvolved metrics, event attendance, to really figure out what is the best fit for our students at UK when they're planning events and attending events on campus.
Yeah, and Caitlyn just mentioned too about attending events on campus. So one of the cool things about the Virtual Programming Collaborative is now we're not just working on virtual programs, but also in-person programming. So the University of Kentucky came back and is having a fully residential experience for students this semester, this fall. And so we've been able to utilize that group to go over, again, all of the things that have been working for in-person programming, as well as some things, some challenges that we might have had, and some solutions to those. So has been a really great resource for all of us as we continue to program for students and provide safe and healthy places for them to get together. So one of the last things I wanted to talk about is we're really utilizing this to go over our winter intersession as well. So at the University of Kentucky, our break is a little bit longer than it usually is, which I'm not sure if the students are more excited or if we are, but there's still a big want to engage students even as they go home for the break. It is about a 6 to 7 week break, which is a lot longer than we're used to having. So we're going to utilize the group and have been currently utilizing the group to figure out what programs are still going to be available to students over that break so that they can continue to connect with us as well as other students while they're at home.
So how can you create a VPC of your own? I would encourage you to think about your current existing relationships on campus. So we know relationships are important, whether you're at a big institution, a small institution, a public, private, it doesn't matter. Relationships are key. So identify who your key players and collaborators are, and that's where I would start. think about who are your folks you turn to for a normal event or program, and that's who I would begin with.
Yeah, and with that, as you're thinking through your key players and collaborators, does anybody, whether that's an individual, an office, a student organization, who stands out to you as your campus champion, somebody that you know is bringing you along with them, is elevating you in meetings and in events? Who is that champion that you have on campus, and how can you incorporate them into your planning of your programming collaborative, into meetings across campus? That might be a student, faculty, staff member. Find your campus champion that you know is going to continue to elevate your work and the support that you're providing for students.
Yeah, and of course, the big person, students. So a lot of the time, we may think that we know what students want or what they're looking for or how they're engaging, but we really went to our student organizations and asked those students to be a part of the group so that we knew what students were looking for, that we had a channel to their peers, and could listen to what we needed to be providing for them. So the big one always is to incorporate your students and students' orgs there. So it has been super fun going over the virtual programming collaborative. If you all have any questions, you can feel free to email us either at that student orgs or at our emails below. And I will hand it over to Caitlyn so she can tell you a little bit more about how you can get in contact with us.
Yeah, so if you're joining us with the Student Organization Summit, you can also join us to ask Q&A, provide feedback, ask questions in the live session as well. So refer to the schedule for the link to continue chatting with me and Courtney and Libby if you all have any questions. If you're not able to join us for that live portion, please email us and ask any questions. We'd be happy to connect with you all outside of the summit. Thank you all.
Thanks for tuning in to the Student Organization Summit. If you're watching this live, feel free to reference the schedule for the day and use the link in the schedule to access a Q&A room where you can ask questions or chat with the presenters from this workshop. If they didn't list a Q&A link, or you're watching this video after the event, thank you for your interest in the Student Organization Summit.